Good evening, everyone. Can you pull that door just a little bit forward? Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Rowley Board of Selectmen meeting for July 2nd, 2012. Call the meeting to order. Just a reminder that this meeting is being videotaped and also audioed. First on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, and with that, our conservation agent, Brent Baselak, is here. Brent, will you lead us in the pledge?
Thank you. Certainly. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Brent, thank you. Okay. We're going to go a little bit out of order tonight because Brent has been here all day. And Brent is here to notarize something for us. So I'm going to jump down to old business number 1. And old business number 1 is signed Pingree Road access agreement, easement. The Pingree Road access easement is now complete. The trustees of the Pingree Farm Condominium Trust have signed the easement. The town meeting authorized the Board of Selectmen to sign the easement. The board needs to vote to sign the access and maintenance agreement. There are 2 originals that need to be signed, one by the Board of Selectmen, one by Brent Baselak. Brent Baselak will notarize these 2 documents. So, has everybody read the agreement? Board?
Yes.
Do I have a motion to sign the agreement?
Easement. So move.
Easement.
Easement, I'm sorry.
I so move.
Do I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay. Okay, Bob, you would. Thank you, Bob. Thank you. Thank you. Now, Brent, need this notarized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And if I may I request a signature from you in regards to the signing of this?
Also, I'm a favorite of yours in this book, you know. I have my autograph several times here. More than several times.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, fine.
Thank you so much.
Fine, thank you so much for coming in. your time. Okay.
If there's nothing else I can be of service with?
Brent, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to have you in.
Have a
Nice
good
evening to you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Good night, Brent. Okay, it's 5 minutes after 7. We now go into citizens' query from 7:05 to 7:15. So I will go into chairman's comments, and I have a pleasure to read this to you. This was in the Globe, the Boston Globe, and this is about one of our own in town, Jenna Demento, Triton Regional High School student. She is I'll read this. She is a one-woman rock band and a rock climbing star too. Jenna Demento plays several instruments: clarinet, saxophone, guitar, drums, trumpet, piano, and xylophone. She sang soprano in the school choir, counts her voice as the 8th instrument. Well, it makes music, said Demento, too, who was 18. She also was captain of the school's climbing club. It's just you and yourself trying to get to the top of the rock, said Demento, who is certified to lead climbs. You have to use your body and mind to reach your goal. Music is her soul. She played clarinet in the concert band, saxophone in the jazz band, xylophone in the Vikings marching band. She picked up the others along the way and plans to add trombone. In this year's school musical, Legally Blonde, Demento played 3 different clarinets, often switching only a measure with a measure to spare. I would put one down and pick the other one up real fast. It really challenged me to figure it out, she said. Demento, who started clarinet in the 4th grade, practices at least 2 hours per day. As a junior, she toured Europe with the Sound of America, a summer program for high school students. She played clarinet in concert halls, churches in 6 countries. It was really cool to hear ourselves in those places. It sounded so different than ever before. An honors student, Demento was ranked 3rd in her class of 221 seniors. She was secretary of the student council, and this year was a student representative to Triton Regional School Committee. The youngest of 3 children of Bill and Beth Demento of Rowley, she plans to major in music education at Ithaca College. She hopes to become a high school band teacher, which has been her goal since she fought to save the Triton Music Program from budget cuts a few years ago, rallying her peers to support their program and teachers. We got the school committee to reconsider, said Demento. Chosen by her peers to address the committee, ever since I wanted to make sure that the future kids get what to have the same experience I had. If anybody knows Jenna, she is a lovely young lady. I was at the school committee meeting one night when she addressed it. We are so lucky to have her in our town, and we wish her all the best in future endeavors. And I think we will hear from Jenna Demento in the future. She is just a lovely young woman. So with that, we'll move on. I want to thank everybody for the volunteers who went down to Independence Day on the Common we had last Saturday. It is with gratitude and appreciation that the following are recognized for their help and participation with the Independence Day celebration on the Rowley Town Common. Police Department, Chief Barker and Officer Tom Hill. For the Children's Parade and Games, Debbie Egan, our own Debbie Egan here, Doreen Golick. Parks and Recs, Tim Southall, Glenn Fouget, and Mike Killian. From KM Foods, Ray Markowitz, who donated all the hot dogs for KM Hot Dogs. Shaw's in Ipswich, Mark Weber, who's the manager in Shaw's, and also Shaw's in Gloucester, Bob Gumbleton, who they donated the rolls and all our cleanup and gloves. They were just wonderful. Bob Murray, I want to thank you for going very quickly and getting all those tables. Last minute, you were right there with those tables, Bob. Thank you.
Well, it was getting tight, so we
Yeah.
managed to pull it off.
Yeah. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't been sitting out there with nothing to put the hot dog machine on. Okay. I want to thank Savage Seafood, Mike and Ben Savage. They provided all the ice for us, and they stored our
Italian ice.
the Italian ice. That's right. For a couple of days. And Jack Cook from Cook's Rubbish. I want to thank him for all you did, Jack, for coordinating with us. And the Rowley Grange, Alan and Barbara Gasper, and Mary Olette for helping us with the second hot dog cooker. Raleigh Community Media, Janet Morrissey and Nate Hunter. Thank you so much for providing services down at the Common to put that on tape. Choice Graphics, our own Choice Graphics right here in town. Christine Harris, Keith Harris, and Paul Tardid for printing up the posters for nothing for us. Food table volunteers, Susan Elwell, Mary Ellen, and John McGill. Kurt Annan, again, all the selectmen here. Joe Perry, thank you for working the table, and Stu Dalzell and Bob. So with that, we had a wonderful day on the Common. It started at 8:30, and we really started to look like we know what we're doing out there on the Common.
Getting close, huh?
Yeah, getting close.
Actually, there was one more that worked on the table with this Bob, was Mary Claire Dalzell.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
Mary
Yes.
Claire Dalzell. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry,
she
I
did
forgot about
she did a
that.
great job.
Yeah, we had a great day on the Common, and the kids had a great time, and the weather was perfect for us. Again, we've been very lucky. So
Everything worked out very, very well.
yeah, everybody really pulled hard, and this thing all came together. And I think big hearty thanks to everybody that was involved in it. Thank you
And,
all.
most importantly, the kids seemed to have a very good time and
Yes,
enjoyed
they
the festivities. And
Yeah, there were a lot of smiling faces.
I know they enjoyed the Italian ice, that's for sure.
Yeah, they sure did. Okay. It's funny that as I was standing out on the Common, someone said to me, "This is a real great celebration out here." And I happened to look down the Common, and I looked up, and there was a Civil War monument, and I was thinking to myself, "Wow." On the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of July, one of the greatest battles in American history was fought at Gettysburg, and it wasn't for those brave men on that day. It happened over these 3 days right now. We wouldn't be enjoying our freedoms, what they did. I mean, it was a tremendous battle, but you know, we look on the Common, and I want to thank you, Bob, for years ago when we put the Revolutionary War Monument out there and those brave men weren't addressed at that particular time.
Right.
But sitting there and looking at that Civil War monument, Gettysburg just flashed into my mind, and you know, it was 149 years ago. This week, at this particular day, this tremendous battle was going on, and our nation would, in the world, would be very different if that battle had gone another way. And I was thinking about, you know, there was General Meade who commanded the troops, General Buford, General Reynolds, Winfield Scott Hancock, and a young Joshua Chamberlain who commanded the 20th Maine, who was a teacher at Bowdoin College. And well, maybe this weekend I was thinking, if you appreciate our freedoms a little bit more, maybe think about, maybe picking up a copy of the Gettysburg Address, or picking up a copy of Shelby Foote's second volume of the Civil War, and read about that 3-day battle. And again, we would not be the nation we are if it hadn't been for those brave men at Gettysburg. So to remember them. And as we go into next year, it will be the 150th anniversary of that battle. So anyways, something to ponder and rejoice in the celebration of our independence this July 4th. So with that, citizen query is over. It's now 7:15. And we have an appointment. And the appointment with Frank Ivanella, president of James S. Price Incorporated, and Josephine Bornstein, and I'm sorry.
I'm Dana Bornstein.
Dana Bornstein.
Thank you.
Sorry, okay. Owner of D&D Auto Sales to discuss Class 2 dealer's license. Frank Ivanella, owner of Frank S. Pierce Incorporated, 180 price of 185 Newburyport Turnpike, is requesting to reduce his car limit from 42 vehicles to 2 vehicles effectively immediately. He is requesting that the Board of Selectmen approve an application from Josephine Bornstein of D&D Auto Sales for the Class 2 dealer's license for 40 vehicles at 185 Newburyport Turnpike. D&D Auto Sales is subleasing the location from Frank S. Price Incorporated. Enclosed are letters from Frank Ivanella and Josephine Bornstein. The Board of Selectmen needs to vote. The vote is to modify the original 2002 Class 2 dealer's license issued to Frank S. Price Incorporated in the amount of 42 vehicles by reducing the vehicle limit from 42 to 2. Sign the new replacement Class 2 dealer's license to Frank S. Price. 3. Vote to issue a new Class 2 dealer's license to D&D Auto Sales Incorporated for a 40 limit with the conditions. A, that D&D submit $25,000 bond in accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 140, Section 58, from a surety company licensed to business in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And B, D&D submit complete workers' compensation affidavit. And C, D&D submit $200 application fee in the form of a check made payable to the town of Rowley. And D, the Board of Selectmen holds the license until these documents are submitted. 4, sign the new Class 2 dealer's license for D&D Auto Sales. The license will not be released until the conditions are met. I guess turn this. Do you have anything to say?
No, I think you've covered everything quite nicely. This is a matter of interest. Listening to you talk about Gettysburg, you think about history, and it's hard for me to believe sometimes that I've been involved up here in this corner now for a decade, and some people wonder what did I actually do there in the last 10 years, because I certainly haven't made any money. And just as a matter of interest, it was in that year of 2001 when Paul Getchell, who was originally there, was struggling. A lot of people don't know this, but Paul's older than I am, and I had remembered Paul when Paul used to work down in Danvers for a company called Weber Auto Sales, and I used to chum along with my dad before I could even drive. And I thought Paul was cool back then because he was running the car a lot, and he was young and strong and had things going. And then he ended up here in Rowley. Actually, he was, I think, over at Veterans for a while too. And if you recall, he was even where the McDonald's currently is. I believe there was a car lot there. So I kind of followed Paul's career because I had gravitated down in Ipswich there in 1977. But as things turned out around 2001, Paul was having trouble. It was after 9/11, and a lot of people in business were having trouble. Okay, and I still don't think it's recovered completely from that point. But anyway, I knew the Galanis's pretty well, and I used to buy wine from Ted, and he told me, gee, Paul's going to be going out. Are you interested? Even though I had the big place down in Ipswich, and I said, well, yeah, but let me go and talk to Paul. And Paul, unfortunately, everything was going by him, and he was having health issues and a lot of problems, and he was trying to get something for all his years there, and he really didn't have anything to sell. So I negotiated a deal with Galanis, and part of my deal was I gave Paul a car because he had nothing, and I don't know what's happened to him since. I believe he's still alive, and I guess he's around. Anyway, I said, well, we'll take it. It's right down the street. It's a great location, and I didn't want to see the wrong people go in there. I said, it's right down. It's a great opportunity. So within a short amount of time, you know, I decided let's expand it, because if you recall, gentlemen, it was formerly a mobile station.
Mhm.
And I remember when they had built that, and the mobile station, a lot of people don't remember this, but it went out of business. They couldn't pump enough gas back then. And, you know, that's when the Galandises repurchased the property. Anyway, we came in with a plan, we went to the ZBA, we went to Conservation, and I basically spent $250,000 redoing that building. But that same year, I ended up having an opportunity to buy the golf course in Topsfield, which I hadn't expected to do, and I did. And I got involved in some development up in Haverhill, and I'm doing too many things, essentially.
Mhm.
And we tried running it a couple of times, but we never ran it correctly. And, you know, we've kept it up, and we've kept all the licenses, all the insurance, you know, cut the grass every week. And I happen to meet Dana, you know, he comes to my auction, and he's got a couple of places in the inner city, and he sells the type of car that I wasn't selling, which is the lower price car. And there's a market for the lower price car. But he's got a staff, and this is what he does. And I decided, you know, it's time for me to do something and try to put something in there that's, you know, viable and alive, and get the corner cooking, because I spent all that money not to just, you know, go up there once every week and check it. And that's essentially how we ended up at this point. And the reason I've asked to have you structure it the way I'm asking you to is that in the event, if anything goes wrong, I want to be able to come back in and operate again. So I retain a 2-car license, which is basically nothing, and I'll keep all my insurance and all that stuff, and let him run with it. And that's basically it in a nutshell. And you know, he's got the yard filled up now. It looks pretty good, and I guess a lot of people are stopping in, and
Absolutely.
and you know, and it's alive again. And I actually was over at the diner today, and I got interrogated by Andy, which is normal. But you know, what's going on? I said, well, we're going to sell some cars. That's what's going on. He said, are you still paying the rent? Of course I'm paying the rent, but I don't pay it to him. I pay it to Ted. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So.
Mr. Bornstein, Mr. Bornstein.
Yeah, I'd just like to address the board. I want to introduce myself, Dana and Josephine Bornstein. My wife will be owning this, renting it off of Frank. And just to give you a little premises, we've been in business for a long time, roughly 35 years. Gas stations, used car lots, always run correctly with the rules of the cities and such. Frank was good enough to give us an opportunity to, you know, place is a beautiful place, and we've put cars there and hoping, you know, like I said, you know, it's been a very exciting week already there. Hoping everything conforms to your gentlemen's wants and needs, and I just would like to be very blunt. We're rule followers, not looking to do anything but have a happy business. My cars are fully service warranty, geared towards more of the kids of the community. With the prices of cars now and this and that, and every kid needs one. You know, I've been doing this 35 years. I make sure they're safe, they're sound, and it can be respected. You know, it's something they drive, and you know, I'm not going to say unlike other people in my business, but you know, we have children also of the same age, and we care. So we're hoping to have a long-lasting relationship in Rowley.
Now, do you sell most of your cars from the lot or from the internet? I'm just curious.
I'll be very honest with you. We advertise heavy on the internet, but I think Rowley, at that four-corner setup, I've had nothing but local walk-ins. And, you know, hoping this goes well and can be expedited, because, of course, I want to follow every rule of the city and the laws in the state. And it's been nothing but a fabulous week there already. Very, very, you know, we've lived in Peabody our whole lives. Looking for a house in Rowley now. Really like the city. Really love the Agawam Diner. And I'll tell you what, nice, decent folk. Not that Peabody isn't, but it's changed a lot over the last 10 or 15 years. And I have an 18 and a 21-year-old. This is a nice area, and I'll leave it at that. We're very impressed with your city. Town. Pardon me.
I did receive one complaint.
Okay.
Somebody talked about the signage. Okay. And I understand marketing, you need to get the customer to come in and everything else, but they just felt it was a little bit too flashy.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll address it if I could.
Okay.
I don't jump
And
in.
I understand marketing, and I understand you need to get the customer in, and you need, you know.
I
catch
drove
a
around
person's
your
eye.
city to all the car lots, town, pardon me, and Peabody's a city with my apologies
It's
on
okay,
that.
no problem.
And I based what I put up off of what everyone else put up.
Okay.
Maybe I was incorrect. But if you're asking me to tone it down, I've got a... Unfortunately, Frank has a big investment there, and so do I right now. I just want people to know it's
Well,
open.
we want we want the business to succeed, okay?
Mhm.
We want, attract,
What was the
business to
complaint, sir? Little...
I just said they used the word, and I don't want to use the word.
Okay.
But the way they described it.
I think part, if I can interject.
Again, I understand marketing, and I
Sure.
understand you need to catch the eye of the consumer that comes by, okay?
I think
So-
part of it, I think, is it's almost equivalent to a restaurant that's been closed
Yeah.
for 10 years at a corner like that, which the traffic backs up very early in the day, and then all of a sudden it's open with signage and cars in the parking lot, and it's almost too dramatic because it's been so quiet. I mean, it's really been a very low key.
And that may be part of it.
Well, we
And
chose-
I think,
yeah.
and I think going from no cars
Mhm.
to 30 cars right now, let's say, and all the gear
Right.
that you normally would attribute to marketing, retail sales, which is what, we do business at the auction with a lot of, retail dealers, and that's their typical wear, financing, pricing, a balloon, a flag on the antenna, and that is normal throughout the country, quite honestly. But I think, that we're still, he keeps calling this a city, we're still a town at a busy intersection, and I think it might be almost like a little culture shock. It's been so dormant for so long, and all of a sudden,
We chose not to get ostentatious with streamers and stuff like a lot of these other lots, because I think they're distracting at the light there, and that's the last thing we wanted.
Well, if you're in a good location, I mean, you're catching a ton of traffic coming down.
Yes, sir, without a doubt.
133 coming from, in the morning especially, you're getting
I don't think
traffic
there's a better
from
one.
New Hampshire coming down and going into, down 133 into the Gloucester area. So you're catching an awful lot of traffic.
Well, I noticed tonight when I came, I'd actually spoken to him earlier because we had an auction today, and he did remove the balloons. But, I mean, I personally like the balloons because some of the balloons he had with the American flag, inscribed on the balloon. And, I mean, I like that because it's the flag, especially with what you were talking about earlier
And a civil
today.
walk off myself,
Like that
sir,
for what?
without a
Yeah.
doubt. All due respect to
Right.
that statement.
Well, any comments from the board?
Well, I think it looks, I viewed it yesterday, I looked at it today, and you really got it like a car lot. You know what I mean? It really looks presentable. One good thing about it, if you're coming east or west on 133, you don't have a cut in it, that would be blocking traffic, interfering. You gotta go, you got the lights, and you only got that one exit going north, in and out, which I think makes it real good for keep the
Thank you.
traffic and
That was Frank's idea. Yeah, I think,
I-
like I
you
said, not a busier corner I
and
could
even
ask for
I
in my
slowed
life.
down, sir, to look at what you had. My
Well,
grandson's
thanks.
looking for a car, and I said, boy, it looks.
I cater to a
it lit up
16 to
little bit.
25-year-old market. And being a father and being a mechanic, we've been doing this a long time. And, I'll put it very diplomatically, I'm horrified at some of the stuff some of these people sell. Not in this city by any means, but the town. But, you know what? I was brought up, my grandfather, my father in this business. Do the right thing, be ethical, do the right service to the car, and sleep well at night, and I'll tell you what, business prospers for us. We do very well at our other location and our gas station for 35 years, and I think this place would be a fabulous, given the opportunity by you fine gentlemen,
I had to bring it up because just like you have customers, I have customers. And
Respect it fully, sir, respect it fully.
I think it's colorful and coming by, and I didn't think it was that outrageous.
Well, thank you, sir.
okay.
I do have a question for Frank, though. I'm confused here. Is it James Price, Inc., or
Yes.
Frank Price?
No, it's James S. Price, Inc.
It is James?
Yes, yes.
Okay, because that's the one that's
Yes.
on the license.
Yes.
That's what I wanted.
It's James S.
Make
Price,
sure.
Inc.
Okay, so
Jack-
typo.
Jack and I probably remember James,
Yeah,
Jimmy Price.
yeah.
They ran it.
Yeah, no, I found
Place
that
up there.
driving by, it's nice to see the a number of cars in the lot, and that,
I'll tell you, Stockman and Frank did a
there's not-
beautiful job with the building. It's exotic.
isn't it great?
Oh, it's beautiful.
No,
Oh my
the
gosh.
building
It's
is-
always kept it
building
up.
has done
Yeah.
a good
There's
job.
been no litter around
Building was
there,
really
like
done.
you say. Sometimes you'd see 6 cars.
Right.
And
It-
another day you go,
It was
yeah,
an,
there
I-
was
it
no
was,
cars.
it was an eyesore, and
Yeah.
you turned it around. It
Yeah,
looked
really does.
Right, and that's why I mean, I'm paying a lot of money every month,
Uh-huh.
and, I mean, when I tell you, it's costing me $50,000 a year to keep this place, with the insurance and what I have to pay, to the owners of the property. And, hopefully, his payment to me will be tied in on how well he does, and it'll be just a chance for me to recoup some of my investment. But, no, we've always strived to keep the property good, and, we're going to, service the air conditioning, all that stuff, and we've kept the yard clean. I've had the landscapers there, they do a spring cleanup and a fall cleanup, and I've always kept the property up because I just wouldn't have it any other way.
When you did do the modification to the building, we were guessing for months there, what are you going to do with it?
Right.
And it looks great, it really does.
Well, this is great, and I can't tell you how many people call me wanting to rent it. And I've told them, no, I'm not interested. I have had more people that wanted to put more things in there. I can't, real estate off. I said, no, it's, because I know the way the town has changed the ability to get a Class 2 license. You have a moratorium now, so that if that location was ever closed for 2 years, you could not get a Class 2 license at that location. I mean, I'm aware of that. So there's a certain value
Sure.
to that, and I wouldn't want to do that to Ted anyway, I mean, even though I have the right to sublease it, but, because they wanted me to do automobiles. For some reason, they liked it, and the premise under which I leased it, was to redo it and make it, a nice Class A shop. So I got there, but I never, we never had the success, and I can only attribute that to I never put the right time or effort into it. We had a small window of time when we did put a lot of cars there, but it was all $20,000 and $25,000 trucks and SUVs. You probably remember a couple of times. And honestly, the way the economy has been the last 3 or 4 years, I mean, that's been a tough market.
Mhm.
It's just been a tough market, and rather than buying a $22,000 used vehicle, would go out and lease a new vehicle for less money than they could buy, the 1 or 2 year old used. I mean, the market's been upside down for the last 4 or 5 years, and hopefully it's going to change in the next year or two.
We hopefully.
It's not there. Even the golf course, which we instituted last year, we put a brand new irrigation system in, and my business
Yes.
went to heck.
Yeah.
I attributed most of that to the golf course being under construction, but you know what? That's not really the case, because we're off 25-30%. I've talked to other courses nationally. Golfing is down. And people can't afford to golf.
And you can see it with,
Yeah.
you can see with a lot of,
The economy's pretty decimated right now, and
Yeah, it
hopefully
is.
for recovery, I mean, things take time.
I mean, I don't see as many boats out on the water.
Oh,
either.
No.
You
Well,
know, there's a lot
gasoline's
of-
come down, which we're pretty familiar with, but I'll tell you what, they really had it jacked up for no good reason for a long time. I mean, it's crazy.
There's a lot of speculation, and, we can go into that. Bob, you have anything to say?
I think it's gonna be a good addition up there. It really is.
Right, good.
I think you got a great location.
We do, sir, thank you.
Yeah, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
But before we go any further, do I have a motion from the, do I have any other comments from the board?
I have no further.
No further.
I'll make a motion
Okay.
that we grant, what we got here, let's make sure we get this right.
Thanks, Mr. Clifford.
Application name would be Josephine
Bornstein.
Bornstein Inc., is that it?
No, it's good. It's Josephine Bornstein, DBA, D&D. It's gonna be
Right on the
DBA.
license there,
Okay.
Jack.
Yeah, application, business name, doing business as D&D Auto Sales.
Jack's made the motion.
Do we have to
I think we should add.
follow the order on your,
There's no
restrictions.
increase in automobiles that can be sold, vehicles that, so it's just merely a reduction of the existing license that the board issued to Mr. Ivanella.
So everything
So
I
there'll
read
be-
on those first 4
There'll be
points.
two So you need to modify
Right.
the existing license for James,
Yes.
sorry, not Frank, but James S. Price,
Right.
Inc., Car Lines, which has been in business there for many years. Modifying that down to a two-car limit,
2-car limit for,
and then the board needs to sign that.
Right.
And that will replace his current 2012 license, effective immediately.
okay, so we should do the last page first.
Right.
Okay. So Jack, make motion on the last license.
Okay. Well, this, as president of James,
Yes, Frank.
yeah, okay. As president of James S. Price, Inc., doing business as Car Lines, I am requesting that my license located at 185 Newburyport Turnpike, Rowley, Mass., be reduced from 42 vehicles to 2 vehicles. I will retain office space in said building. Additionally, I am requesting that the board grant a license to Josephine Bornstein, doing business as D&D Auto Sales for 40 vehicles. They will be subleased from me.
We can do it, we need it really separate.
I
Right.
think it'd be easier, I think.
Yeah, if we do it, let's do,
One motion
Ms.
just for
Iavella
the
first,
current
okay.
license to modify the
we'll do
existing license.
his first, his license.
We're just
okay?
gonna do the license.
We just do
Oh, the
his
license,
license
okay, I'm sorry, I didn't- I-
for
So
2
number
cars.
Number
Okay.
one on the sheet,
Okay.
vote to modify the original 2012 Class 2 dealer's license issued to James S. Price, Inc., in the amount of 42 vehicles by reducing the
Yeah.
vehicle limit to
Just
42.
do that, number one.
And then just
Okay.
signing it. And it's James
Yeah,
S. Price.
okay, you want, just start with one then, Debbie,
Just we'll do
right?
that, then we'll stop.
Yeah, okay,
We'll vote on
stop,
that,
okay.
then we'll go to the next
I
one.
vote to modify the original 212 Class 2 dealer's license issued to Frank S. Price, Inc., in the amount of 42 vehicles by reducing the vehicle limit from
No.
40.
James Price.
There was a mistake on that.
Okay,
It's
James.
Yeah,
James
All right,
Price.
sorry.
that's
Just
okay.
change that to, I'll change it from Frank to James. S. Price, right? Okay,
Second.
reducing the vehicle limit from 42 to 2.
Okay. And
Second.
I have a second. Okay. So we can, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, now we can sign. On. Thank you, Jack. Okay, now, move on to the next license.
I move that we issue a new Class 2 dealer's license to Josephine Bornstein, to D&D Auto Sales, Inc., for a 40 vehicle limit with the conditions attached.
Okay, I have the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, you should probably read those conditions into the record,
Oh.
please, A through D.
Okay.
You want me to put that in as part of my motion?
Sure, make that part of your
Okay.
motion. Do we have to rescind the vote in order for him to, we should probably rescind the vote to,
Well, you could if you wanted to, or
okay.
just.
Do I have a motion to rescind the last vote, so that we can read the,
So move.
okay, do I have a second?
I'll withdraw my second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now let's,
Okay, I move to issue a new Class 2 dealer's license to Josephine Bornstein as D&D Auto Sales, Inc. for a 40 vehicle limit with the conditions: A, that D&D submit a $25,000 bond in accordance with the Mass General Laws, Chapter 140, Section 58, from a surety company licensed to do business in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and B, D&D submit completed workers' compensation affidavit, and C, D&D submit a $200 application fee in the form of a check made payable to the town of Rowley, and D, that the Board of Selectmen hold a license until these documents are submitted.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Do we have that check and,
We can take care of that now. Could I ask you a question?
well,
Just for clarification. I filled out a thing there. It's a sole proprietorship with a single person working in there. I'm under the impression that a workman's compensation policy is not necessary, but it's in my conditions right now, so I just want to touch base on that.
Well, the affidavit, as long as you submitted the affidavit and checked off, Mrs. Bornstein checked off, she's a sole proprietor.
Okay, so that supersedes the need for that?
It's actually the affidavit that we need, not
Oh, that is
necessarily.
the affidavit?
Yes.
Oh, thank you, sorry, pardon me, I just wanted to make sure.
So we have that, and then the bond,
That
which
way you
I,
get signed off on it. It's
We already
we're
have
covered
it.
We'll
both
take care
ways.
of the check tomorrow morning at the
yeah,
phone?
no, that would be
Beautiful.
fine.
okay.
Beautiful, thank you, gentlemen.
Okay.
Just the
And
bond thing.
and the surety and all that, that's,
The Bornsteins know if they're in the business, we need to
Yes.
get just the original bond with the seal on it that you have to have in order to have a car dealer license.
Okay, sure,
So,
very familiar
as
with
soon
it.
as we can get that, then,
You have to get it named, a new bond. 'Cause
Correct.
I have two bonds, I have one in Ipswich and one here. So wherever you get your bond,
Correct.
you'll have to have one for the Raleigh
We'll get
location.
it immediately.
okay, as soon as that, then we can sign the
well, if you
license.
wanna sign
We
it
can
at
sign
this
it with,
point,
with
the-
conditional,
The motion
Because the conditions
holds it
are-
until the
okay.
we're voted
conditions have been
on,
met.
that way we could just expedite this.
Right, then we don't have
So
to,
upon delivery of such, we're all
we don't
set.
have to
Yes.
call you back from
Yeah.
Alaska to get you to sign it.
You talking about me?
Yes.
In Alaska?
Yeah,
I'm not going to
well, I
Alaska.
figured in the wintertime you go to Hawaii, so in the summertime you probably go to Alaska.
No.
Beautiful country,
That's
Alaska.
that- We don't have to go anywhere.
Someday,
Raleigh,
I'm gonna
Raleigh,
I'm
we
looking
live
forward
in-
to it too. I've never been, but I've done a lot of looking.
You're going to enjoy it.
God bless.
Next year.
I've had a few friends that went,
My
a
wife just
life-changing
finalized it
experience.
last week.
You're going to enjoy it very much,
Are
believe
you
me.
gonna go on
Pardon me?
a good
You're
tour?
going to
or
enjoy
you
it
want a
very
cruise?
much,
Cruise.
believe me.
Yeah.
Looks
Cruise
beautiful.
out of
You got a
Washington
cruise?
State. Yeah,
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
yeah.
I have a brother-in-law that lives there,
Really?
yeah.
It's an amazing place.
Where does he live?
He was in Anchorage and he moved to Fairbanks.
A lot of Discovery and History Channel stuff on that. It's
All,
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh
all
my
set.
God.
We are
My
all
favorite
set.
channel. That's
Yeah.
all.
History does, the History Channel doesn't even do it.
I'm sure it doesn't,
Doesn't
yeah.
even do it. It really doesn't.
I don't think there's anything else, right? Correct?
No, we're all set.
That's it.
Well, we wish all of you
Mike,
success.
Thank you so much. A
Thank you so
pleasure
much.
meeting you, and thank you for your help. A
Okay,
pleasure.
thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
For your grandson, anything he needs, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Send
Good
it
luck.
in.
Thank you,
Thank
ladies.
you.
Frank, thanks for coming in.
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Remember when Paul was doing the advertising in the gorilla suit?
Oh, yeah, that's right, too.
Nice meeting you. All the best.
I bought a car from Paul.
I enjoyed your talk about the Gettysburg and, the history. 'Cause
Well, I've been down there about, I don't know, probably half a dozen times.
But one of the things that people don't realize from this area unless they travel somewhere else, this part of the country, right, this is the most historic part of the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
country. Not only that, I think it's, the geography. I mean, look at, this is a beautiful summer night right now, the way a New
Oh.
England summer night. I've been down to Florida, there's no cellars, the water tables, right? It's,
Yes.
I mean, they get the extreme in the weathers, they talk about all these places that are the nicest places to live, like maybe Fort Lauderdale or Galveston or someplace out in Oregon. You can't beat New England.
Yep.
Well, we live in a great part of the
And
country.
the history, I mean, the history is the other thing that's magnificent. I mean, the old homes, and I'm just, I've been here all my life, and I have no desire to get a home somewhere else, because this is the best, really. Anyway,
We were on our way home from Boston. My wife made a comment tonight that saying, we don't need history books for the kids, just take them into Boston,
that's
and
true.
take them
Yeah.
into the suburbs and,
right.
all the history there. It's
Right.
amazing.
It's really funny when you hear somebody come from out of town, they come here, and they'll go places we've never been.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
we take it for granted.
Oh, yeah.
right, right. Well,
Yeah.
let's hope everything goes well, and I want to thank the board for their time, and I appreciate all the cooperation, and
I hope everything works out for you, Lieutenant.
I'll be,
We're taking off, Frank, thank you. And once again, thank you, gentlemen, nice
Take
evening
care.
to you.
All the best.
Ladies, thanks.
All right, thank you, Frank. Okay. Okay. Okay, first thing, go to general business, FY12 interdepartmental budget transfers. There are 4 interdepartmental budget transfer requests before the board for approval. Library wages to library wage expenses, transfer $750 from line 118 library wages to line 119 library expenses. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we transfer $750 from line 118 library wages to line 119 library expenses as per Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 33, capital B, small b.
Do I have a second? I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay, Jack? Thank you, Chuck. Okay. We have to do this one over, let me see. Library expenses.
Keep turning, go to the next.
That was just
Oh,
information.
okay. Okay, highway wages to highway expenses, transfer $802 from line 94 highway wages to line 95 highway expenses. Also, highway wages to tree warden expenses, transfer $596 from line 94 highway wages to line 80 tree warden expenses. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move we transfer $208 from line 94 highway wages to line 95 highway expenses.
802.
802.
802, I'm sorry, 802. From line 94 highway wages to line 95 highway expenses. And item 2, highway wages to tree warden expenses. Transfer $596 from line 94 highway wages to line 80 tree warden expenses per Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 33, capital B, small b.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You got that? Go. Thank you. Okay. Another transfer, and this is assistant treasurer salary to administrative assistant wages. Transfer $514.32 from line 25 assistant treasurer salary to line 26 administrative assistant wages. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's it. Okay. Okay, general business number 2, FY13 reappointments to boards, commissions, and committees. Should we do this?
I think we should do it by item.
Yeah, I think you're right. Probably the best way. Okay. 8 Towns and a Bay Committee. Member, Robert J. Carpenter. Expiration 6/30/2013. Do I have a motion?
Make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Rowley Cultural Council. Carolyn Bartlett. These are all 6/30/2013. Carolyn Bartlett, Carolyn Peabody, Kathy Sullivan, Nancy Hill Chair, Sally McCray. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Do I have a second? I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Zoning Review Committee. Katrina O'Leary, Inspection ZBA, non-voting member. Ken Ward, Building Inspector, member. Donald Thurston, ZBA representative, member. Tom Heidegard, ZBA representative, member. Robert Murray, Board of Selectmen representative, member. These are all until 6/30/2013. Do I have a motion?
Make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. Plumbing and Gas Inspector, Richard Danforth, alternate. This is until 6/30/2013. Do I have a motion?
Make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Parks and Recreation Committee. This is until 6/30/2013. Jod Tidmarsh, Michael Killian, Ryan Gallant, Glenn Forget, Timothy Southall. Do I have a motion?
Actually, Mr. Chairman, the first 4 are 13 and the 5th one is 15.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. Okay. Okay, Timothy Southall is till 6/30/2015. The other 4 previous are until 6/30/2013.
That was at their preference, Mr. Chairman. Those individuals only wanted a 1-year appointment.
Yes. Okay. Do
So
I
move.
have a motion?
So move.
Do I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Bob, for pointing that out. Sandy Point Committee member, John Manning, member. This is until 6/30/2013. Do I have a motion?
Make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Shellfish Constable, John E. Jack Gunstrom. This is until 6/30/2013. And John H. Gunstrom. This is until 6/30/2013. Do I have a motion?
Make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Shellfish Constable Deputies. In each one of these until 6/30/2013. Stuart Delzell Jr., William Demento, John E. Gunstrom, Fred Hardy, David S. Kent, Charles G. Hazen Sr. Do I have a motion?
Make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And the last one, Community Preservations Committee, 3-year term. Joseph Perry, Board of Selectmen representative until 6/30/2015. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Do I have a
Second.
second? I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. Okay, let me see. Historic Commission, Historic Commission, Mike Harney, position alternate, expiration 6/30/2015. Do I have a motion?
Make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Plumbing and Gas Inspector, alternate, Harry Bennett, This is until 6/30/2013. Do I have a motion?
Make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We need to vote to,
Yes, Mr. Chairman, so there are three members of the Historic District Commission / Historical Commission that do not want to be reappointed. So the board needs to authorize us to post a notice informing the townspeople that you're seeking members to serve on this committee.
On the historic? Okay.
3 openings.
Three members did not want to be reappointed.
Who are the names, can I ask?
Offhand, I don't recall. We'll look that up and let you
Okay.
know.
Okay.
I'll make that motion that we post 3 vacancies on the Historic District Commission,
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
What would be the date on them? Is that just,
Those are the full
3-year?
members of 3-year appointments. And Michael Harney was a full member, and he asked to be an
An
alternate.
alternate.
so
Okay.
he would be one of them that dropped down to an alternate?
Yes, and
If he was
aside
one
from
of the
that, there were
members, right?
three that did not want to be.
Just to clarify, the last page that I read, that was FY13 appointments to boards, commissions, and committees. A little bit different than, the first one was reappointments. So that was general business item number 3. This is general business item number 4, memo from Police Chief Robert Barker, accreditation reference to. Dear board members, I am pleased to announce that the Rowley Police Department has undergone an accreditation assessment and will be recommended for reaccreditation to the next Massachusetts Police Accreditation Commission meeting on October 18, 2012. The Rowley Police Department became certified in 2002 and was first accredited in 2003. This latest accomplishment marks our 4th accreditation status, each of which lasts for a 3-year period. I would like to take the opportunity to thank the board for their support over the years and my staff for a job well done. Sincerely, Robert Barker, Chief of Police. There's no vote needed on that, correct? Good job, Chief.
Yes.
It was one thing to actually get the original accreditation, but it's something completely different to keep it up. I
Right.
mean, you really have to stay on top of it to make it work, so they've actually done a very good job.
Very good job. Okay, next, this is a memo from Police Chief Barker again, and this is reference to lifting the hiring freeze. Dear board members, I respectfully request that the Board of Selectmen lift the hiring freeze and allow me to initiate selection process for 2 reserve police officers. We currently employ 8 reserve officers, but 3 of those officers currently work in full-time capacity within the police department. I have received a resignation from a 15-year veteran officer who left us to work for Ipswich and will need to fill this position. The additional position reflects my expected needs for manpower during the coming year. This fiscal year saw unexpected absences of full-time officers for extended periods, which, coupled with the Army Reserve activation of another full-time officer, caused the fiscal shortfall. This condition could have been mitigated by additional reserve officers at straight-time rates. In addition, I request that the Board of Selectmen also allow me to hire additional reserve dispatcher. In April, reserve dispatcher who was actively working took a job out of state and moved. Although she is on a temporary leave of absence in case her new job doesn't work out, I expect her resignation to be imminent. This puts further burden on our staff since all 3 of our reserve officers are dispatch trained as well, so we are drawing from the same pool to fill our dispatch and officer shifts. As you know, reserve officers and dispatchers are only paid when they work, so there is no expense to the town to carry them. The only cost is for training and equipment. These costs are not insubstantial, but they will be recouped in savings over time. Sincerely, Robert Barker, Police Chief. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion that we lift the hiring freeze so the chief can initiate a
Do I have a,
arrest.
thank you, Jack. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, letter from Library Director Pam Jacobson to lift hiring freeze. Okay, dear sirs, I am requesting, writing to request that you lift the hiring freeze to allow the Rowley Public Library to replace the library associate for adult services, Rob Pondelli, who has left to take a full-time position in nearby library. This is an essential position for the library, overseeing all circulation functions, technical services, and reference service to adults. Thank you, Pamela Jacobson, Library Director. Any discussion for the board?
Mr. Chairman.
I'd like to offer a comment before we.
Oh, sure.
That we're sorry to see that Rob has left. We wish him well in getting a full-time position in a nearby library. He's only been with the Rowley Library for a short period of time, but we do need to fill this position.
Mr. Chairman, I move we lift the hiring freeze to allow the Rowley Public Library to replace the library associate for adult services.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. Moving on to general business number 7, request from Gene Geiger Crisis Center to hang a banner on the town common backstop. We do this every year. Request from Gene Geiger Crisis Center to hang a banner on the town common backstop. Gene Geiger Crisis Center is requesting permission to hang a banner on the town common backstop from August 30th to September 30th, 2012, publicizing the annual walk against domestic violence. The event is Sunday, September 30th, 2012. The contact person has been provided to contact cell number should anything happen to the banner. We've done this for how many years now?
Quite a few.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
Okay. So everything seems to be up to order on this. Okay. Do I have a motion from the board?
I'll make that motion. We grant that.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Memo of agreement, AFSCME and Town of Rowley. This is general business number 8. The town and AFSCME Local 2905 have reached an agreement on successive collective bargaining agreement. The Board of Selectmen needs to vote to sign the memorandum of agreement. Has everybody looked over the memorandum?
Yes.
Okay. Everything look appropriate, gentlemen? Do I have a
Looks
motion?
good. I so move that we sign the memorandum of agreement with the AFSCME Local 2905.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bob? Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Joe? Jack, John, thank you. So, okay. All general business is over with. Moving on to old business, we did that already in the beginning. So we'll move to minutes. Has everyone read minutes for June 11th, 2012?
I have.
Yep, I can run them.
Do I have a motion to accept the minutes for June 11th, 2012?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The minutes for June the 11th, 2012 executive session. Has everybody read them?
I have.
Okay.
Yep.
Do I have a motion to accept the minutes for June 11th, 2012?
I'll make that motion.
Executive session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So when everybody read the minutes for June the 18th, 2012,
Yes.
do I have a motion to accept the minutes for June 18th, 2012?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the minutes for June 18th, 2012 executive session. Has everybody read them?
Yep.
I have.
Do I have a second? I mean, do I have a motion to accept them?
I'll make
Sorry.
that motion.
Do I have a
Second.
second?
Second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We were doing pretty good right up to the end there. That was the last item. Okay. Okay, we have finished the agenda for tonight, except for announcements. We want to remind everybody that Rowley Food Pantry is still in need of donations. The food pantry is open Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., Thursdays from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m., and during the summer months, donations sometimes drop off. People forget about the food pantry, but they're still in need. You make your donations at the parsonage, which is right next to the First Baptist Church on Main Street, or you can go to the library and drop it off at the donation basket for the food pantry. So, anything else, Joe, you can think of?
Just that the library will be closed on Wednesday, July 4th
Thank
to
you.
celebrate the holiday.
And again, if you have a chance and you're such a mind, try to pick up Shelby Foote's second volume and read about Gettysburg. It is quite a tale to read and to talk about, especially this 4th of July. And with that, we have nothing else. So with that, take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you in 2 weeks on the 16th of July. Thank you again. Good night.
Everyone have a good 4th.
Have a good 4th.
Safe fourth.
A safe 4th.